The Royal Enfield Interceptor 650 has been holding its ground since 2018, carving out its place as possibly one of the most accessible parallel twins on the market. But here we are in 2025 with whispers of possibly a bigger 750 arriving at EICMA this year. And it raises the question, or at least for me it does, is the Interceptor 650 still relevant today? Or has its time simply passed? Well, in this review, we'll try and find that out. Stick around. The Royal Enfield Interceptor 650 rolls in at £6,599 on the road. Here we see it in Barcelona blue, but it's also available in lots more colours, which I'll insert on the screen now. At the heart of the Interceptor we have a 648cc air and oil cooled parallel twin, pushing 47 horsepower at 7,250 RPM, and 52 Nm of torque at around 5,150 RPM. It's worth noting that strong torque is available as low as 2,000 RPM. At 217 kg wet weight and at 805mm seat height, it's manageable for a wide range of riders. 41mm telescopic forks up front and twin shocks at the rear keep the ride balanced, while braking is handled by a 320mm disc up front and a 240mm disc at the rear, both with dual channel ABS. A 13.7 litre tank gives you around 120 miles of range, with a fuel warning kicking in at 2.9 litres. Smooth, torquey and unmistakably Enfield. Alright, let's get riding. Traffic Weaseler. Limiter, hello! Right guys and girls, I am back and I am out on Royal Enfield's 2025 Interceptor 650. The 650 bad boy. Alright team, I am exactly where I belong. In the countryside, cows in sight, and on an absolute freedom giver machine that is Royal Enfield's Interceptor 650. Now I know that I'm not going to probably win any races on this, but you know what? I don't want to. I want to bimble around, I want to take in the countryside, and I just want to live my best biker life. So it's no secret or surprise really that the Interceptor 650 is such a popular bike, and it literally has such a massive following of bikers and motorcyclists who absolutely adore the platform. They love customising theirs. You know, it's just a wonderful bike. Now it's been out a while, so it's not like super fresh. We've had some tweaks along the way. Obviously the original flipping Interceptor was like a 1960s jobby, but this kind of modern take came out in 2018, as you heard before. Oh, birds. And some of the tweaks to this, you know, over time have involved little things like wheels, and we now have an LED headlight on this as opposed to the candle in the wind bulb. Wow. Oh my. I love the view here. It's outstanding. I always forget it's literally on my doorstep. So she got some little tweaks here and there, a little bit of refinement, a little bit of modernity. But I guess one of the things that I love about the Interceptor is that it has kind of remained relatively unchanged all throughout the years since 2018. Through all the years, Royal Enfield have thought, if it's not broke, don't fix it. They've kept that 47 brake horsepower, lovely silky smooth parallel twin. They've kept the dual clocks. They haven't messed with them because, you know, I feel like Interceptor owners love them, and I do too, because there's something really classic-y feeling about them. You know, the thing's got barely any tech on it. Barely any tech. We've got ABS, and that is about it. That's about your lot. You know, there's no traction control, there's no quick shifters and auto blippers, there's not even a gear indicator. In fact, if you want to have a look through that tiny LCD bit of the screen, you push the centre, it rotates through trip A, trip B, and odometer. And that's your lot, and you'll be grateful for it. Lights with this, we've got an LED headlight, sure, but that's about it. We've got a bulb rear, we've got bulb indicators, and they're quite big and chunky and very retro. The switch gear, very uncomplicated, because obviously there's like no kind of tech to complicate things. There's no insane TFT dashboard to have to navigate and melt your brain and have it seeping out your ears. It is just very much a nice basic thing, with no cruise control, nothing like that. But you know what? I feel like it's all part of this bike's charm, don't you? Hello! So if you are a biker or a motorcyclist or whatever you want to call yourself these days, and you're a Royal Enfield Interceptor 650 fan, then you'll probably know that there has been discussions of an Interceptor 750 on the horizon, with spy shots being let loose all over the internet. And because we're seeing them, it's kind of leading me to believe that, you know, we'll probably see it soon, I reckon. I don't have any insider information or knowledge. I'm not that well in with Royal Enfield, contrary to what you may believe. Oh, that sun is bright, sheesh. But I've had a look at the spy shots, and one thing that stood out to me straight away was that it looks like it gets the dash off the new Himalayan 450, or Himalayan 450, to keep everybody in the comments section happy. In fact, debate amongst yourselves about how you pronounce it, because I feel like I'm fighting a losing battle whichever one I say. But yeah, I have noticed that dash. And I'm a little bit concerned, because I know how treasured the twin setup is, the analog twin setup, and I know that as things do get more techy as life goes on, because technology advances and we do see it in other models in the range, it is kind of inevitable in my eyes that it will reach the Interceptor 650. And you know, I really do hope that's not the case, because it's like Triumph, isn't it, when they had their 900s and 1200s, they had those twin clocks and everybody loved them, everyone fawned over them because they are so pretty. And then Triumph went and put that slightly off-centre TFT/LCD dash on the bike, and I feel like everybody lost their minds, everybody went crazy. And I do fear we will have a repeat of that reaction if the Enfield does go that way. However, all is not lost if it does and you are a lover of the twin clocks, because the beauty of the Royal Enfield, you know, Interceptor 650 engine, and just the 650 engines in general, is a lot of people seem to bore them out. So you can get a bit more power squeezed out of them, you know, if this Interceptor 750 doesn't kind of go your way and isn't what you're expecting or hoping for, if that makes sense. And also, I guess another thing is that when the Interceptor 750, when I say when so confidently, if it does come out and if it does happen, which I think it probably will, then I reckon you'd be able to pick up an Interceptor for a disgustingly low price for what you get. So for example, I know already that some MotoGP dealers near me, they've got £1,700 off list price on the Interceptors. That is crazy. And you know, with all the savings, you could do things that people commonly complain about, like upgrade the rear shocks or get a comfier seat or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, with the money saved, you could do a lot. But yeah, going over all these bumps, woo, reminds me of how harsh the Interceptor's suspension is for me. Like at the front anyway. Ugh. It's not forgiving. But you know what? I really, really do like the Interceptor. Like, this is a 20 zone, yeah? I'm doing 20. I genuinely don't feel the desire to speed. Oh, we got some birdies in the road, in the way. Come on, hop along, crows. You know, we've got an 18-inch front on this, so it's not quite gonna handle like a 17-inch front. But you know what? It doesn't handle bad. It's not mega quick to turn into things, but it's not super slow either. You know, it's just, I feel, Mike said it best, my other half. He said it's a bike that does nothing phenomenally, but it does everything well enough, and that's its biggest strength. It's a jack of all trades. It's a for the price you can't complain type bike, you know? I don't know, you know, if you're not concerned with being a country lane hooligan and you just enjoy the slower pace of life, not even necessarily the slower pace of life, but the more mature, the less ego-driven state of life. Maybe you're a bit older and you just want to ride around at your own pace, see the world, see the trees, see everything. It's a great bike to do it on. Say you're somebody that does have a crazy hoon bike and they love it, but sometimes you think, you know what, I don't want to go out on the crazy hoon bike because I don't want to get in trouble. This is a great bike, like I said, to jump on and just go at the slower pace of life. Or this could be great for, you know, not necessarily saying young or old, but maybe somebody who really likes the thought of customising the bike and really making it their own. Then this is a wonderful platform to do that. You know, it's crazy. You've seen my rides over Rivington normally, and you know, I very much dice with the speed limit because it's a national, and on some of the bikes that I get to ride 60 mile an hour, it's not even a drop in the ocean for these bikes. Take the Triumph Speed Triple 1200 RX for example. You know, you can't use it, you can't use the power, you can't eke it all out on the road, otherwise you'd be going straight to jail. Do not pass go, do not collect £200. Whereas with this, you don't feel like you need to go flipping treble figures over Rivington, you know, or anywhere for that matter. You're just happy to be alive and on a bike and bimbling about, and I love that. Definitely serves a different purpose. One thing I don't quite remember about this bike when I rode it 2 years ago was this kind of bracketry on the cylinder heads. But yeah, I don't recall it. But it might be because when I last rode it, I think I was probably wearing thicker textile pants. Whereas today, I am still clinging to the thought of summer. And I'm still grin and bearing it in my jeans because, yeah, there's definitely a chill in the air, that's for sure. Whew, it's cold. Yeah, as I was saying, it's these I don't quite remember. If an Interceptor 750 does come out, what are your predictions for it? What do you think? What power figures do you reckon it'll put out? Because we've got 47 brake horsepower at the moment, haven't we? But yeah, what do you think? Because I wonder if they'll do anything drastic with the power, or if they'll just basically create an engine with the amount of power that the people who get these and bore them out get to experience. Is there anything you'd like to see on the Interceptor 750 that you feel like the 650 should have got but didn't? And is there anything that you seriously hope it doesn't get? Because it will taint it for you, because you like how the Interceptor 650 is and you just prefer a larger engine in it but keep everything else the same. Let me know, I'm curious, I want to know. Oh, that's another thing on the spy shots as well. So this has a single disc, and I figured I'd talk about it just now because I just tried to stop at the lights and it stops alright, but it stops like it is a single disc. And I think if they do put twin discs on, it'll be a nice improvement. So that's one thing I'm hoping for. One thing I'm not hoping for is that Himalayan Gorilla 450 dash. And, you know, I'm not actually opposed to that dash. I actually really do like it. I like its functionality. I think it's pretty. I get on with it. But for the Interceptor to me is those twin clocks, the crossbar. You know, it just, it's a nice classic aesthetic and a nice classic POV that I really appreciate, and I feel like it would be a shame if it got lost. But yeah, I'm looking at myself in the shadow as we ride by, and look at me, I'm upright. I'm very much just in a lovely neutral riding position. You know, it's quite low at 805mm of a seat height. I'll insert what it looks like for me to sit on it. Just very confidence inspiring. I'm 5'4" or 162 centimetres with a 29-inch inside leg measurement or 73.66 centimetre for those who prefer that measurement. And it's just lovely and pleasant. But you know what? From a customisation point of view, I reckon lots could be done with the seat. I reckon tons could be done with the seat to really pad it out and make it proper chunky if you wanted it to be, you know, give your legs a bit less of a bend. And I also reckon you could skim a fair bit out if you wanted it a bit lower. I do feel like comfort is a bit of a point of contention with a lot of Interceptor 650 owners, so I would be very intrigued and interested to see what you guys have done to remedy the seat if you don't find it all that comfortable. Ooh, one of the things I would like on, say, an Interceptor 750, if it happens, would be a slightly bigger tank. Now, this is a tricky one when it comes to modern classics, because you don't want to mess up the aesthetics. Because, for example, I really, really love and appreciate the Harley-Davidson 48s, and that has a tiny tank, a peanut tank. And, you know, it's not very practical. You probably get round the block before you need to fill up. But it looks so good. So, you know, I understand that they can't make it too big because it will just absolutely butcher the aesthetics, and I feel like Royal Enfield have got the aesthetics of this absolutely bob on. It is one of the more elegant looking, like, modern classics in my opinion. But yeah, people kind of report 120 miles tank range on this, so to eke out a little bit more mileage could be quite nice. But I also get that it's not a tourer, is it? It's not a tourer. Tourer. Honestly, I just think it's so charming. So charming, so characterful. Just so easy to ride, so chill. And yeah, it just brings out a different side to me as a biker that I don't often see, if that makes sense. But yeah, I like the side it brings out. It's nice for a change to just take things a bit more sedately. Don't get me wrong, I bet there are people out there that absolutely hoon around on their Interceptor 650s. I'm not saying, you know, it's not capable. You know, you can ride things how you like, but for me, it does just bring out that chill side of me. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. So I'm back in from riding the Interceptor, and as always I'm going to pop my pros and cons on the screen now so that you guys can read them at your leisure. So team, what do you think? With a potential 750 on the horizon, do you think the 650 will still have a place on the roads? I mean, I think we'll see some big discounts on the bike if that is the case and a 750 does come to fruition and arrive in the market. So that's always a benefit for consumers. And I know that there's a lot of opportunity with the Interceptors to bore them out and make them a little bit bigger. So yeah, who knows? I mean, I'm interested to see if a 750 does come out, and if one doesn't come out, you know, Interceptor 650 owners, please let me know, and the fellow viewers, what you think about the Interceptor 650 in the comments. Are you happy with the power that this parallel twin puts out, or do you want a little bit more from it? Have you bored it out? Have you kept it stock? Let me know. I'm always intrigued to hear your stories and what you've done to modify your motorcycle. Right, well, I hope you have enjoyed this vlog. I've certainly enjoyed filming it. I always love getting out on the lovely Interceptor. It's always such a pleasant experience for me. You know, when I get to ride all these crazy powerful bikes, it really does just slow down the pace of life, and you can just bimble around and really enjoy the essence of biking for what it is, the freedom, being able to move around comfortably and leisurely on two wheels and take in all the sights. Alright team, well I hope you've enjoyed this review, and I'll catch you all on the next one.